Happy Wednesday, and what a Wednesday this is. It's a fantastic day already. There's a couple reasons why it's a fantastic day. Summer's winding down. That means one thing, football season is about ready to start. Another great thing about today, 32 years ago today, I became a father. Today is my oldest child's birthday. My daughter, Katie, turns 32 today, so this makes this a great day. Someone said, that's the birthday of you becoming a father. I never thought about that way, but 32 years ago today, I officially became a father when my first child was born. But enough about that. If you're wondering what you're watching here, you are watching the Imperfect Action live stream. The Imperfect Action live stream. Why do I call it the Imperfect Action live stream? Because you know what? There's no such thing as the perfect time. Perfect time just doesn't exist. Too many people want to wait for the perfect time to do something, and they wait and they wait and they wait and they never do anything. You got to take the imperfect action and just do it. Who am I? I am Rob Fenstermaker, former corporate burnout survivor turned kingdom builder. Your kingdom builder. I want to get you out of the rut and you start living the life that you want to live by you taking that imperfect action and you becoming that person you want to be. Hey, it's a couple things I got going on. Hey, this Friday is the next installment of the Virtual Friday Whiskey Hour. Mark, you've stopped by the Virtual Friday Whiskey Hour before, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Have you been there before? I seem to recall you were there.
I was there once.
Yes. And some people say, I don't drink whiskey. Hey, there's no requirement to drink whiskey. The word whiskey is just an opportunity to bring people together. Just show up and just enjoy the conversation. We do have some deep, meaningful conversations to close out our work week. And that's what it's all about. It's just trying to create a community. But enough about that. It's time to get into today's Imperfect Action live stream. And I welcome my guest, Mark Csordos, who is the laundromat entrepreneur. Mark, how are you doing today?
Very good, Rob. Thank you for having me.
And not only are you a laundromat entrepreneur, you are also a football fan. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, sir.
The terrible
now we
Towns,
have a quarterback this year. Yeah.
Mean Joe Green. The Iron Curtain. Was it the Iron Curtain? Is that what they were called back in the 70s? Is that what it was? The Iron Curtain? Is that what it was?
I thought the Steel Curtain.
Jack Lambert, Mean Joe Green, Steel Curtain. All right, Iron Curtain. Why did I say the Iron Curtain? It was Steel Curtain. My goodness, how would I miss that one up? But yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We do share something in common. Me being a Bengals fan, we both have a disdain for the Cleveland Browns. Correct?
Yes, sir. And the Ravens.
And the Ravens. Yes. And I know Browns fans, they can really go after the Ravens, and there's a love-hate relationship with the Steelers as well. But you also graduate from Rutgers University. I know Rutgers is in part of the newly formed Big Ten. You mentioned before we start, you get to at least one Rutgers game a year, correct?
Yes, and I watch them all on local TV when they're on.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the Ohio State University. I attended my first Buckeye game when I was 7 years old. It was the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Cal Bears. And I've been hooked on football ever since, and I absolutely love football. I'm living down in South Florida, but I've already got my tickets for one game this year to get back up to watch my beloved Buckeyes when they play the Iowa Hawkeyes. So, yes, I do love football, but enough about football. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Mark and what it is you do. So the laundromat entrepreneur, that's interesting. I think of laundromats, and I think back to my college days when I went to Ohio State University, and there were a couple laundromats on campus. When I needed to do my laundry, I'd go down there and just throw it in a duffel bag and haul it down there and get my laundry done. What is it that attracted you to the laundromat business? Well, what got you into the space?
It's a very safe business. It's a very predictable business. You're not bound by the economy necessarily. So even in bad times, you should still do fairly well because at the end of the day, everybody has to wash their clothes. And it's also a business that people need. So it helps people.
Yeah. And so as you went through this and the laundromat you first got into, is it something you purchased or is it something you created yourself, or kind of walk me through that process?
The laundromat entrepreneur part?
Yeah, well, no, as far as the first one you got into, is this something you purchased an existing business, or did you build this business
Oh yes,
yourself, or how
I
did you go? What was the
purchased.
process you went through?
It was an existing laundromat, and I went the old-fashioned way. Like I tried to go through the brokers, and I didn't have any luck with like business brokers. So I just tried a different way. I sent a letter out to like 40 laundromats, in a radius around my house,
Okay.
and very simple. Just asking, like, if you're looking to sell, I'm interested in possibly buying. Give me a call. And 3 places answered. One wasn't ready to sell. One wanted too much, and then one was like Goldilocks. It was just right, and that's the one that I bought.
Very cool. And then, so is it when you're thinking about a laundromat and let's just say you want to get into that space, obviously the location matters. Are there certain locations you should look for? I mentioned, a college campus. That seems like an ideal location. If you're going to college, you're either living in an apartment or a dorm, and it's not your permanent house. You need someplace. Does location really matter so much as to where this would be?
In 2024, it doesn't matter as much as it used to matter, because now a lot of it
Okay.
is wash and fold and pick up and delivery. So we do a lot of pickup and
Okay.
delivery to people who have,
Mm.
washing machines and dryers. What they don't have is a desire to do laundry. They have 3 kids and 2 dogs,
Okay.
and one kid's in little league, one kid's doing this, mom and dad are working. So they don't feel like doing 5 loads of laundry on a Saturday. So they have us do it for them. So in the past, it used to be, well, you wanted to locate it near, let's say, like a lot of apartments that don't have the
Mm.
cleaning facilities. But today, anybody
Yeah.
could be a potential customer.
Okay. So say I'm that mom who's, has 3 kids and 2 dogs, and, I'm just got a lot of stuff going on, and I don't want to spend, all Saturday doing laundry. Do you come and pick it up, or is that a service that's
Oh
provided? You
yeah,
would come pick it up and do everything, or okay,
yeah,
okay,
definitely. You can leave it in.
okay.
I tell people you can literally leave it in a garbage bag by your front door. We will come, we'll pick it up, and we'll bring it back all nice and folded. And all you have to do is put it away.
Yeah, very good. And then, okay, that's interesting. So the service provided. So is this to say you've got that customer? Would they contract for each individual, or would they say, I want you to do my laundry for the next year? Can I just pay for 12 months? Do you have that? Do you offer that opportunity for them as well?
Well, we have reoccurring pickups, so they get a bit of a discount, and it goes
Okay.
by weight. Some people, you could be a
Okay.
single individual who just doesn't want to do laundry. And we have I know we have a family where the gentleman has like 6 kids, and they recently came back from vacation with almost 200 pounds of clothes. So we charged, and that when we took it back to them, it was 17 bags of clothes once we got it washed and
Goodness.
folded. So it all depends
Goodness.
on how much you have to give us.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I remember, back in, my college days at Ohio State University, going to the laundromat was kind of a social experience. And there was one in particular, I can't remember, I think it was called Suds and Duds. I think is what it was called. And the front part was a bar, and the back part was the laundromat. So there was people, grabbing a beer and heading back and doing their laundry, and it became social. Do you see that going on as people are coming in to do their laundry? Do you see that at all?
I do see a lot of social. It's amazing how many people know each other. We do have apartments right behind us, so we get a lot of people from the apartments. So they'll know each other by name. But I've seen a lot of people who just like, wait, is that Bob? Hey, Bob. How are you doing, Bob? They just so it is kind of like a social meeting place because you are there, probably for an hour, a good hour, if you're going to do both the
Yeah.
wash and the dry. And yeah, so a lot of people They do, and we try to be a part of the community too. We added a little library in there, so the books get donated by the local library. The bookcase was donated by the Chamber of Commerce. So we try to be a part of the community as well.
Okay. You have like a little coffee bar, or are you like a Keurig or anything like that?
We don't have that because I don't have a lot of room, Plus, yeah, I mean, there's a Starbucks right down the street, so I can't compete with them.
Well, there's a Starbucks on every corner,
Well, that's true. There's a lot of coffee places.
A lot of coffee places. You know what? You say Starbucks on every corner. I was in London several years back, and I kid you not, when you go to the real touristy part of London, I guess Trafalgar Square, there was a Starbucks on the corner, and you walk catty corner across the street, and there was another Starbucks. I was baffled, especially in a place like London. I think of London, I think of tea, but Starbucks is huge in London. I was a little baffled by that.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, Starbucks on every corner. So I think Starbucks is a little oversaturated. I think they've kind of reached their peak. But we'll see. I'm not a big fan of Starbucks. I don't know really.
Yeah, I'm not a Starbucks user. I've heard they've been having their problems.
Yeah.
Some of the
I guess I do love coffee.
The bloom has come off the rose for Starbucks.
Oh, yeah, it has. It definitely has. I mean, I do love coffee, but going and paying $5 just for a cup of coffee. That's why I call it $5. But I don't know. It's a little steep for me. But enough about coffee. Enough about coffee talk. I think there's something. Now, obviously, you have a staff. If you have people doing the laundry for you, you have a staff. So you have a staff that you have to oversee and pay. And then you obviously have the machines, the upkeep with the machines, and I know a commercial grade machine is going to be a lot different than a residential machine that I go and buy at my local appliance store. On a commercial grade machine, what's the life expectancy of a commercial grade machine?
Well, they tell you about 12 years, but honestly, you can get much more out of that. At 12 years, they want you to start buying new ones, which I understand. That's their job. Right. But if you maintain them, they will last much longer.
Okay. That's interesting to know. And then, all right. And then obviously you have expenses associated with this because now you have gas heaters, electric heaters that you run?
Electric.
Electric. Okay. All right. I've gone to some places where they have the gas heaters. Now I have an electric heated dryer in our house, but I have done the gas heaters. And it seems like it dries so much more quickly and efficiently. But I certainly get that. But there's something about these, coin operated businesses. And when I lived up in Ohio, I connect with somebody, and he owned a few of the coin operated car washes, and he did very well with that. Because it's you're addressing a need people need. I mean, it's easier to go down to the car wash and wash my car as opposed to me doing it at my house. Everything's there. Maybe but I think that, and I think the same is true for laundry as well. You mentioned the apartment complex that is near. Now, would there be an opportunity for somebody who wants to get in this business? With contracting with some of these big apartment complexes and going in and being able to set something up within the complex. I know some complexes will have that facility in there, but who knows what the status of some of those machines are. Because I lived in apartments and it seemed like half the time the machines weren't working. But if there was somebody that were able to do that, to service that. So is that an opportunity as well? Somebody who wants to get into this business to work directly with an apartment complex like that, setting something up inside there.
That's a possibility. They might not want to give up that revenue, or they might not want that headache at all. Like, look, if you're willing to take care of it, you can put your machines down there and you collect the quarters, and you get the nasty phone calls when the machine doesn't work or their clothes don't come out okay. So there is a possibility,
Yeah.
yes.
So now I know, when I would think back, when you go to a laundromat, it was a coin op. So you always had to have quarters, or you have the quarter machine there. But now I think you can swipe. A lot of the machines are set up where you can swipe your debit card or your credit card on that. That's always an option now too.
Well, a lot of the new machines, they let you take coins or credit cards or like a store card, like that you put money on it. So they're
Okay.
getting it hasn't gotten away. It hasn't gone away. I think 75% of laundromats still take quarters. So it's not going away
Yeah.
anytime soon, but it is becoming more and more plastic. And that makes
Okay.
it does
All
make it
right.
easier for everybody. You don't have to collect buckets and buckets of quarters. It's easier when it comes to accounting. Yeah, you do pay like the credit card fee, but
Yeah.
you're gonna pay somewhere for something. So it does make accounting easier. It can make it easier for the customer because I do understand that if you're putting like $8 worth of quarters in a machine, that's almost an entire roll of quarters. You're just pumping into a machine. So
Yeah.
that can be a lot. Um, and I've heard of places that have machines that are like 14, 15, $16 because of the size of them. So if you didn't have, a card option, you're spending, an hour just putting quarters in.
For quarters. So you show up to the bank with a 5-gallon bucket full of quarters. Do they give you some kind of fee to count those quarters out, or do they just
Well,
take it as
actually,
is and say,
the quarters get reused. So like I'll collect the
okay,
quarters from the machines and then I'll just dump them back into the coin hoppers. And I'll just take the bills to the bank. So because my wife had that same
okay,
thought, like
that makes sense.
what are you gonna do with all these quarters?
Yeah,
Occasionally, because people do bring their own. So at some point you do have more quarters than you have need for. Luckily, the bank that
yeah,
I have has a
yeah,
machine, and being a customer, I just put it in the machine. They give me a little slip. I take it to the thing. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize,
yeah.
some of those quarters might have been with me a long time. They just get recycled throughout
Okay,
the store.
yeah. Now you mentioned your wife, so I'm assuming that you and her are in this together. Is this a family endeavor?
Yes, two of my kids work there. And my wife does like the bookkeeping, and she can be an emergency fill in if we need it.
Okay. And then, as far as the family that this family team. Um, I mean, do you consider, obviously you have your wife and your children, but the people you have working for them, I'm going to take a leap of faith here and assume you consider them part of your family as well. They're part of your team. They're part of the family that you're trying to create.
Oh, definitely. They're very important because I mean, if I don't treat them well, they're not going to treat the customer well. And I'm very lucky. I have a good staff. I
Yeah,
feel totally comfortable shutting my phone off.
yeah,
We're doing this. I know they can handle the store. They don't need me there. I honestly, maybe I
yeah,
could even be in the way,
yeah,
because I'm not a good folder.
yeah,
So much of our business is the wash and the fold. And I'm just not good at it. I'm the guy with
yeah.
if you've ever gone to like the Gap or something like that and you see somebody, using the board to fold the
You
clothes,
got the little board.
that's
They
me.
got the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's me. And they're
yeah.
just so much faster than I am. Sometimes I'm in the way.
Yeah. Well, one of the important things of leadership, winning leadership, is knowing when to delegate your authority. So you kind of swerved on it there. You delegated this task to your team, and you trust them. You trust that they're going to get it done. You trust that they're going to service the customer in a powerful way, because you know, there's no quicker the most impactful way to create a business is to serve that customer, give them that wow experience. And when you do that, word of mouth is going to spread. And just the exact opposite. You do something that ticks a customer off. I mean, they're going to tell 5, 10 people as well. But when you create that winning experience for them, and that the staff that you created, that you trust that they're going to do that, that's powerful. That is very powerful.
Well, I try to get the customers to feel very welcome there. I have a
Yeah.
smaller laundromat, so I don't have all the bells and whistles that a bigger laundromat might have. But everybody
Yeah.
gets greeted when they come in the door. We say goodbye when they leave. We hold the door for them.
Yeah.
If they ever need anything, it's staffed. We're fully attended, so there's always somebody there that can help them. I tried to educate
Yeah.
the staff also on how to do laundry, because a lot of people, I remember talking to a lady. This was at a networking function, and I told her, I don't know how we started talking laundry because I own a laundromat. And she goes, you know what? Nobody ever actually tells you or teaches you how to do laundry. So a lot of people don't do it correctly. And I try to, educate the customer on how to properly do their laundry also.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have definitely ruined some clothes by not looking at the tag that comes with there. I remember one time I had a silk shirt, and you got to wash silk a certain way, and I just kind of wasn't paying attention and threw it in with the regular laundry. It wasn't ruined, but it just never quite looked right after that. So now I've learned, pay attention to the tag. The tag's on there for a reason. Pay attention to it and do it that proper way. Now, let me ask you this. So I have seen I've been to people's homes where maybe they had a barber or a beautician, and in the back of their house they have it set up. They have their barber shop or their beauty shop set up in the back of the house. If somebody wants to get into this business, would they be able to set something up in the back of a house or on their own personal property? Um, is that
I would
possible?
say no. I would say no, because they wouldn't have the capacity to do it. If you had like that one customer I was telling you about that had 200 pounds of laundry, I mean, you're talking 10 loads in your house just to do that one customer.
Yeah.
What you could do if you really wanted to is you could do pickup and delivery and then take it to a laundromat and then charge the customer the difference. That's something that you could do.
Yeah.
But doing it from your house.
Now, have you always been? Yeah, it'd be tough. Okay, I get it. But if you had multiple machines, even that, it would be. Yeah, I hear you. So you've always been a bit of an entrepreneur, correct?
Yeah, I started my first business after I graduated Rutgers. It was a mystery shopping company. I don't know if you're familiar with mystery shopping.
Okay.
Are you? Or
I am familiar with it.
Oh, okay.
So you sense because I think I've done it. Where I go in as a potential customer and will do whatever, and then purchase whatever, and then report back to you. This is what my experience was like. And is that
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a
what you mean by
nutshell.
mystery shopper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we worked with both bigger places. I mean, a lot of the audience wouldn't know ShopRite, but that's a large grocery chain in the Northeast. We worked with Pizza Hut, Manhattan Bagel. We did unusual places too. The New York Waterway, the New Jersey State Lottery. So anything that deals with customers, you can pretty much mystery shop.
Yeah. I did that for a couple of years, just kind of ready. It's kind of a fun way to, create a little, side money. And it's gotta say, I did a lot of car dealerships, had to do a lot of those. I had to do a couple of restaurant ones, just like going and picking up a pizza and just, what the experience like that was like. A lot of cellular shops. I did, several of those. So yeah, those were the primary one. Car washes. That was the other one. car washes.
Oh, okay.
I had to go and do a car wash and just get back the experience. So you're getting reimbursed for whatever you paid, plus they're paying you whatever.
Yes.
So the ones I looked at, I knew which ones paid me well, and some of them pay like $150 just for like 2 hours of your time, 2 to 3 hours of your time. So to me, it was worth it.
Right.
Really, you're going there, you just got to write the report in a specific way, what they want to see, and yeah. So to me, it was an easy $150 on some of these that I did. So
Yeah, it's a good business.
so you kind of got you. It is. It is. It's an interesting business. You got to know what a business that doesn't know what their customers think is a business that's kind of just out there like, wait a minute, you got to know what the message you're sending to your customers. That's very important because you're either going to sink or swim by what your customers think of you and how they interact with you. So you really got to know, and you got to know. You have to know. So as you've been in this entrepreneurial journey, I mean, I think one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm more of a solopreneur. You got to have that steadfast belief in yourself. You got to believe that what you have to offer can really and truly make a difference. And as you think about that, believing in yourself. Well, what are some exercises you do, or what are things you have found that kind of strengthen you to really solidify that belief?
To never get too high or too low, and to understand that
Yeah.
rejection is a part of the game. So I liken it to like a farmer, plowing the fields and planting the seeds, and you work 12 hours and you're sweaty and you're tired and you don't have anything to show for it. And the next day you go out there and you plow and you plant and you water, and there's still nothing. So you have to believe in yourself that if you keep doing these actions, that your crop will grow. And it takes a while. So if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to make it. So you have to believe that you can do it, and give it the time to let it happen. I think a lot of people want things to happen immediately, and that's not how it works in business. You don't just put out a shingle and all of a sudden everybody, oh, you're an executive coach, boom. I have 10 clients the next day.
Doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't work out like that. So you have to believe that, yes, I can help people. And if I just keep getting out there enough and, doing the actions that I have to do, that eventually I will have those clients, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. So you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, it's just that consistent daily action. You get up each day, and you got to know what's in store for the day. Don't go into the day blind. Go into the day with an idea of what's going to happen, and be very precise and very clear on what it is you want to accomplish. Don't just kind of give a nebulous answer out there. Be very clear. If I'm from 2 to 3 o'clock, I'm doing the Imperfect Action live stream. Be very clear what my intention is about that. And my intention with this is to bring some interesting people on, have a conversation. And, if the opportunity happens that either one of us can, get some business out of it, great. That's fantastic. And, I've talked to some people, and they get a little prickly about the idea of, sales. But, if you're a business, you got to sell something. You got to sell something. You've got to advertise something. And one of the challenges I have when I have the opportunity to speak with somebody and present to them what I do is I want to get them to an answer. Don't give me if the answer is no, just tell me no. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And I think some people can be intimidated by saying the word no. I'm not interested. That's fine. I would rather get a no than some kind of fudgy answer that they're they want to let me believe that there's hope that we can do business. Just be honest. Just be honest. If it's no, then tell me no.
One of the things that I learned early on is to train the person to say no. Where you
Yeah,
literally just walk them through it. Like, look, like what you just said. I'd appreciate an answer, and if the answer is no, I'm perfectly fine with that. I got told no a lot in high school,
yeah,
so I'm used to it. Okay, so but I just need
yeah.
you to do that for me. So if you're really not interested, just tell me no.
Yeah.
Okay, and I
Just tell me
think
no.
that kind
There's
of.
nothing wrong with that.
Well, I also think that it puts people at ease because most salespeople don't take no, or
Mhm.
they're trained don't take no for an answer. But you're telling them it's okay
Yeah,
to say no. Just give me the courtesy of
yeah,
telling me, and don't make me do 5 follow-up
yeah,
calls where you
yeah,
gotta like avoid me. Just let's be
yeah,
adults and just tell me no now. And then I think that lets their guard down also.
yeah,
It's like, whoo, this guy will let me off the hook if I'm not interested.
yeah, yeah. And I think yeah. I mean, to me, no is a complete sentence, and I have no being said. If you're intimidated by the word no, or if you're in the business and you don't want to hear the word no, then you're probably in the wrong business because you're going to get more no's than you get yeses. As
Oh,
simple as that.
definitely. Even the
And
best of us get more no's than yeses by far.
yeah, well, it's just like kind of go back to the sports analogy. You can bat 300 and still get into the Hall of Fame. That means
Right.
7 out of 10 times you got out if you're batting 300, and you
That's
still get in the
right.
Hall of Fame. So something to that. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with the word no. And you know what? If you're going to be in business, you got to be all in. You can't go in with just kind of dipping your toe in the water. And you kind of said it. People want immediate. They want something immediate, and we kind of live in this. I could say we live in a microwave society, and everybody the expectation is it's got to happen now. And if it doesn't happen now, then it wasn't meant to be. Um, but I've heard the studies that if you're pursuing somebody for a customer, it can take up to like what 14 touches for them to actually eventually say, "All right, I'm going to hire you. I want to hire you to do whatever service or whatever you're providing." And that's a good number, 14 touches.
Yeah, right. And most people will never get to 14. I wrote a LinkedIn post the other day about how
Yeah,
many people never even follow up. So they never even get to number 2, let alone
yeah,
14.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, the touches don't necessarily need to be, me calling you all the time, but it's just how you market yourself as well. I think marketing is a touch. Email marketing is a touch. I mean, I'm a big proponent of email marketing. I do a weekly email newsletter, and I'm a big proponent of that, and because there's so many ways to create those touches, and just look for the different opportunities, like we're doing right now. Here's a touch. This is an opportunity to get that touch
That is
for,
true.
for
It's true.
for our potential customer, for potential. Um, so in the idea of never giving up. I know you wrote a book, um, and the about the whole process of getting into the laundromat business. You wrote a book, and what was that process like, writing a book?
Well, I've written a couple. It's they've all been business books. So for me, it hasn't been that
Yeah.
difficult. I think the key that I would tell anybody who wants to write is don't write for somebody else, just write for yourself. I write the book
Hmm.
that would help me or that I would want to read. So my first one was
Okay.
business lessons for entrepreneurs. And it was 35 things I learned before the age of 30. So you can tell that was a while ago with the white beard. But what I did was, after I sold my first business, I just wrote down all these different lessons. and they were for me. And it started to take the shape of a book. And, that's when I got the idea of like, oh, well, maybe I can get published. And that's a whole long story, but it did happen.
Yeah.
For the Laundromat Bible, that's the most current one I've written. I basically wanted just to take somebody from like, oh, okay, so you think you want to own a laundromat, through the whole process of finding one and then what it's like to run one. Because I really couldn't find all the information in one spot. I had looked for a book before I bought it. There's some YouTube videos out there. There's all this disparate information out there, and I couldn't find all of it in just one spot.
Yeah.
That just take me through the process. Plus some people, they have an agenda, depending on what products they're trying to sell you. So that's really what I did. I just said, okay, what did I need to know getting into the laundromat business, and then just write that process down. Now, toward the end of it, when I get 80% of the way through, that's when I start to think, why did I start this? And that's where the never give up comes in, because, starting it is easy, but getting that last, 10, 20% written, that can be difficult, when you get near the end and you're into proofreading and all that. But so far, the feedback I've gotten on the book has been good. And for a niche book like it is, it's actually sold pretty well on Amazon. So I've been very happy with it.
Okay, you're good. Very good. And I went to your website and checked it out. And if someone works with you and you coach them through the process, you got everything laid out for them. You've got, you got an insurance rep there for them. You've got a finance rep there for them. And you've got the whole process laid out for them. So it's almost, kind of plug and play if they really want to get into this space.
Well, that's where I thought I'd also be able to bring value. Because, again, I had to find all this on my own. If you work with me, I can say, okay, you need insurance, go there. You need SBA, go there. You need whatever it is you need, marketing. I have somebody. All I have to do is introduce you, and you're 3/4 of the way done.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as you're in this business, I mean, you mentioned you really kind of want to work with the community. Do you do any kind of little fun activities for the community, like bring your kid, we're gonna have an ice cream social or whatever, those kind of things? Have you ever done anything like that?
But besides the library, I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, so we held a networking function at the laundromat. We don't get that many kids.
Okay.
So I would like to do more with kids, but we don't get a lot of kids. What I would like to do this winter is to do like a sock and underwear drive for the homeless.
Okay.
Because you always hear like, jackets, a jacket drive, that type of thing. But I actually read that really if you're homeless, unfortunately, what you need more is like socks and underwear, things like that. So I want to have a drive like that in conjunction with the chamber for the winter.
Yeah, I've heard that as well too about the undergarments. Because I agree. I mean, I've been to many coat drives, but I agree that sock and underwear drive that would be we all have the opportunity to support that, and I think that's a great endeavor as well. So as you get into the entrepreneur world, you got to be willing to take chances. You have to. If you want to succeed, you just got to take those chances, and sometimes you just got to get out of your own way. And what are some things that you kind of went through this process of taking chances? And one, you learned about yourself and the opportunities that existed when you started taking chances.
Well, I think with my first business, I took a huge chance, and I bet on myself. I basically quit my job without any notice. so that I couldn't go back. I was 24 at the time. I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I just quit it without any notice. And I said, it kind of like Cortez when he burned the boats back in the 1500s.
Burn the boats.
Yeah. So what I did was I just burned my bridge, so I couldn't go back. And I said, I'm going to bet on Mark. I'm going to take a chance. And, going with the never giving up, I got Pizza Hut as a mystery shopping client. And then it took me 6 months, I remember, before I got my second client. So that's why, like I tell the audience, it doesn't happen quickly, and B, you have to stick with it and believe in yourself. Because just because I had Pizza Hut doesn't mean I was ever going to get anybody else. So that was the first time. Like I took a chance on myself. There are no guarantees. There's zero guarantees in life. And I'd rather bet on myself than on somebody else.
Yeah. When you got that first client, how did you celebrate?
I was probably more stunned than anything that we got them, because it's almost like in a movie. I didn't have a business degree from Rutgers. I was a communication major. I was still working at a grocery store at the time. I was at A&P working the graveyard shift, and I got the meeting with the owner. He owned like 18. So the guy's, he's in his 50s or 60s, multi-millionaire. And I go there with like embarrassing materials. I found them like years later going through a drawer. I'm like, I can't believe I actually gave this to him, but whatever. So I could see I was on the verge of getting told, thanks for coming in. But, so I just leaned over and I said, look, if you give us a chance, I know we can do this. And then it seemed like forever, but he paused and he's like, okay, we'll give you 2 restaurants. We'll see how you do. And if it works, we'll go with it. And from there, it worked. He said yes. But that's why you don't always have to worry about being polished either sometimes, because I just basically said, please, just give us a chance. I'll prove myself, and you never see that as a selling technique, like since then I've learned all the sales techniques and things like that. But basically, I just kind of fell on my sword and said, please give us a shot. What do you have to lose? So I was probably more stunned than anything else, and then the way we got the second client, the second client was ShopRite, which is a grocery store, and they were opening up a brand new store. Now, to this day, I don't know how they got my number, but they did. And it just worked out that my brother, best friend, future wife, and I all worked at the A&P. So I was very familiar with supermarkets. And we spent all night coming up with a form. I faxed it over the next morning, and she's like, oh, this is just what we're looking for. So I guess another lesson is you have to take the opportunity. If somebody knocks on the door, you got to answer. And you got to answer with what you have at the time. You can't say, okay, well, give me 2 weeks. I'll get back to you. Like she didn't know that we didn't mystery shop anybody else. She just assumed we had a lot of clients. Yeah. Can you send me over a form? Okay, you want a form in the morning? You're going to have a form the next morning. And then that's how we got the second client. Yeah. And then after that, it kind of sped up. Yeah. But those first couple of months, not a whole lot.
And that's the epitome of perfect action. Some people, like you said, some people say, well, give me 2 weeks to get this together. Just do it. They want to meet with you for some reason. Just put something together. I mean, if you have to write it on a napkin, so be it. Just put it together because that's what they want to see. They want to talk to you for some reason. So just do it. As the famous marketing slogan goes, just do it. And having said that, just do it. We would be remiss if we didn't talk a little football here. So how are the Steelers going to do this year? What's your outlook for the Steelers?
My outlook is good now that we have two quarterbacks. Last year we had none.
Okay.
This year we have two real quarterbacks and the same defense. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Not over. I'm not one of those fans that get overconfident. Like, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl and stuff. Yeah. But I definitely think they can. I think they're a playoff team. How far they'll get, I don't know. But I feel good this year. Yeah. And you got to feel
all
good.
You got to do in the playoffs, and anything can happen. I mean, look at the New York. I feel good. I feel good. I feel this is the Bengals' year. That they're all in on this year, and I think this is it. So this is the first training camp since he was a rookie. But Joe Burrow has actually gone through an entire training camp, knock on wood here, without injury or coming off some type of injury. I think he came off an injury, but he didn't. He's not been injured in this training camp. So we'll see how they start. The Bengals have been notoriously slow starters, and then they, about a third of the way through, that's when they kind of catch lightning in a bottle. So we'll see. This is their year. I think this is their year.
Well, I'm hoping you're
honestly.
wrong.
I'm more excited about college football. I'm more excited about college football, and I'm a big fan of Ohio State University, and Rutgers. They're in the Big Ten, and I we'll see. We'll see. I mean, people laugh about. I know Ohio State fans can be a little insane. I'll admit it, and there's a lot of pressure there. When you have a coach that's making over $9 million a year, there's a reason he's making $9 million a year, and he's got to deliver this year. It's simple as that. Simple as that. He's got to deliver. He's got to beat a certain team, that team from up north, who, by the way, Rutgers has beaten. Rutgers has that on their resume. They have beaten that team up north. They have done it. So give yourself a check to Rutgers. I know the Buckeyes aren't playing Rutgers this year. I don't think they're playing that team up north this year because I think you guys would take them down. I'm not looking for big things from that team up north this year. Matter of fact, I think they're going to spit the bit. I can only hope so. You got to look at a team that, the only way they could get there, they had to cheat and they had to dodge and duck, not playing the Buckeyes during a year. And then they figured out, hey, if we cheat, we can get there. So, yes. Am I a bitter Buckeye fan? 100% I am. Do I despise that team up north? Absolutely. So I gotta, when I have a chance to throw them under the bus, I will. I'm looking. I love football. I do love football. I think it's I grew up playing football, went to football games, so I absolutely do love football. And I'm looking forward to both the college season and the NFL season. So we'll see. We'll see what plays out. Somebody's got to take down the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are going to three-peat. I just don't see it happening. Somebody's going to take them down. I don't even think they make it to the Super Bowl. So I've seen a lot of people predicting the Bengals getting to the Super Bowl. The one thing I will appreciate about the Steelers, though, since 1968, they've only had 3 coaches. That is stability. That is rock solid stability right there. That's unheard of.
Fans say. And I'm a Tomlin fan. I mean, like, who do you want that's better? I don't, when they call for his head, it's like, okay, fine. We can get somebody else. Who do you think is better? He's never had a losing season. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one of them. If you were getting that coach, you would take him. So what is, you can't win the Super Bowl every year. Yeah. It's just like being a Yankee fan. Our Yankee fans are, I know. But, we got, especially, the late 90s, the early 2000s, we got spoiled. You can't win it every year. Other teams are going to win. They're trying to win it too. So I think that's like what it's like with the Steelers fans. You can't win it every year. Especially if you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. And like I shared before we started, both of these quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, I mean, this is a make or break year for their career. If Russell Wilson does what he's done for the last 2 years of the Broncos, he's out of football. And if Justin Fields wants to extend his, wants a contract extension, he's got to do it this year. So I don't know. And it's a make or break both. And, the professional football, all football in general, it's a quarterback league.
Right.
So I am curious to see what Steelers do this year. I mean, they always somehow or another are able to get into the playoffs. It seems like.
Well, I assume the Bengals and the Ravens are going to do well. I mean, I think it's probably the toughest division in football.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And I'll be curious to see what the Ravens do as well. So, I mean, I think Lamar Jackson's he's a pretty good quarterback. And so we'll see. It is going to be a tough division. So I'm looking forward to it. And, maybe the best team win. And I guess that's how I look at it. So, as somebody who's really wanting to consider, let's kind of just circle back to where we were talking. Somebody's really wanting to consider to get into the entrepreneur world. What's some advice you would give them? If they're really they're in a corporate job and they want to make that jump, what advice would you give to them?
I would talk to people who are already doing what you're thinking about doing, whether it's entrepreneurs in general or, let's say you want to open a restaurant, talk to other restaurant owners and find out what you're really getting into. Because I think that a lot of times, it looks nice, ooh, I'll go be my own boss, but they don't know what's involved with that. And it's a lot of, headache, and it can be a lot of headache. And, I think somebody once said, being an entrepreneur is working 80 hours a week so you don't have to work 40 hours a week for somebody else.
Yeah, that's it.
So
that's it.
To find out what you're really getting into, without, forget like the YouTube videos and things like that. Talk to people who are actually doing it and see what it's going to take for you to do it. It's not for everybody. My wife is very intelligent. She could not be a business. She's not an entrepreneur though. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you step into that space, you're the CEO, you're the CMO, you're the CFO, you're all the C's. You got to do them all,
Right.
And you got to know, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out quick. And
and a lot of times too, you're the janitor, you're the plumber, you're the delivery person, whatever the business
you're everything.
needs.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. And I like how you said it. You work 80 hours. You're not working but you're working those 40 hours. You're working somebody else's dream. And I wouldn't trade what I'm doing now to go back into corporate. I've been downsized 3 times. I never want to go back into corporate because you are living somebody else's dream. And has it been easy? The journey? No, it's not been easy. But to me, it's rewarding. I get up in the morning. I have a new sense of purpose. I have a new sense of direction of what I want to accomplish and what I want to do. And that to me is the thing I enjoy most about this journey I'm on.
Excellent.
And it's not that you get extra time to go out and play golf or play tennis or go to the beach. That's not it at all. It's that you can chart your own journey and do what it is you want to accomplish in life. That to me is what it's about. That to me is what it's about in a nutshell.
Oh, definitely. I working for somebody else, like my last job that I worked, I got downsized. I mean, I could have gone to another location, but it would be farther away. They gave me a small buyout. I took it.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing was like, I could see what we're doing wrong, but nobody listens. Like you could see the iceberg.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, maybe we want to make a left here. And it's like, no, we're fine. It's like, well, no, we're really not fine. And you got a bad attitude. If you see an iceberg, you got a bad attitude. Okay, call it what you want. But when we hit it, I only have one bucket, So
one bucket, that's it. That's it. But no, hey, like I said, the entrepreneurial journey, I agree. If somebody's considering it, talk to somebody who's been there. I mean, it's not all sunshine and lollipops, but I think the reward is much more, has been much better for me. And, it hasn't, like I said, it hasn't been easy, but it's doing the hard work is something I enjoy. And you got to be willing to do that. You really have to be willing to do that. And I think that's what's important about being an entrepreneur. Do the hard work. But Mark, I really enjoyed this conversation. You have any parting words for anything before we go ahead and call this one a day?
Russ, if you do want to be an entrepreneur, take the chance. The best day to do it is today. You can't wait for that perfect situation.
Yeah.
Because that perfect situation never happens. If you want to do it, make the leap.
Okay. And if people want to reach you, this is the best way to go ahead and email you direct.
They can email me directly, or I'm always on LinkedIn. So
Stop by your website.
Yeah,
I was on LinkedIn.
Send me an invite.
And,
you can go to my website. Any one of those ways.
Yeah. Yeah, check out the website. I would encourage everybody to check out the website. I thought it was a great website, and I loved everything you had on there. I loved your story you shared, the journey you shared, and just how you can, like I said, if somebody really wants to get in laundromat business, how working with you, how that can become a reality for them. But Mark, like I said, I have really enjoyed this opportunity for you to come on and just share a little bit about what you're doing, what's going on. And again, this coming Friday, if you're not doing anything, go ahead and stop by the virtual Friday whiskey hour. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about this Friday. I'll come up with a topic. I usually come up with a topic and just try and steer the conversation. Ciro will lead us. But go ahead and stop on by. But Mark, I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, football season's here. Football season is here. We're on it, and it's going to be a fun season this year. But hey, everybody, let's make this a fantastic day. Go ahead and take that imperfect action. Be the best version of who you can be each and every day, because your opportunities exist in this thing they call today. They're not yesterday. Yesterday's over. Quit hanging on to yesterday. Don't identify with that. Don't worry about tomorrow, because there's no guarantee you're going to get it tomorrow, but you have today. That's where all the opportunities exist. Make the most of today. Let's do the best we can, and let's make this a fantastic and imperfect day. Peace out.
Take care, everyone.